Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the American Comedy Institute's online stand-up comedy workshop show. So what you're going to see tonight from wherever you are right now, in your own home perhaps, is an awesome lineup of comics that have trained in a workshop conducted by the award-winning comedy director, the author of Mastering Stand-Up, which is available on Amazon, and the founder of the American Comedy Institute, Steve Rosenfield. We have amazing comics, not just tonight, but as part of our alumni. We have alumni that have performed in the best comedy clubs all over the world and on TV, including The Tonight Show, Conan O'Brien, Gotham Comedy Live, Late Night, the list goes on and on. So I'm so excited to be here with you tonight and to share these comics with you. And I'm also going to be your host throughout this evening. My name is Michaela. We have a few comics, actually. I know one for sure making their stand-up comedy debut tonight as well. So something to look forward to there too. You can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm very short. I like to think this is because I did gymnastics my whole life, but truth be told, I don't have a blood relative over 5'3". So that could probably be the reason. But gymnastics was so fun. I had to quit when I was like 13, and I thought it was because I got boobs. It turns out gymnastics costs real money that my family did not have. I didn't know this. Turns out those perfectly cubical blocks of foam don't just grow on trees, people. You need money to do it. I actually thought they were paying me to do gymnastics. I thought I was like the regional, like the spokesperson for Sophie Shorts and chalk. Turns out that wasn't true. So I did have to quit, unfortunately. I figured since that you're in my home right now, I was going to show off some of my knickknacks. I feel like I am one traumatic event and one magazine subscription away from becoming a full-blown hoarder. Like when I watched The Little Mermaid and Ariel sings, "You want thingamabobs, I got 20, but who cares, no big deal, I want more." I was positive she was still talking about thingamabobs. There's no way 20's enough. You need at least 30 thingamabobs. So here are some things that I have collected. This is an old woman with a wedding veil. Why? I don't know, but doesn't it bring you joy? This is another woman statue. I think she's a teacher for no reason other than the fact that her hands are folded behind her back and she has glasses. And this is Benjamin Franklin, but this is also a piggy bank. Oh, you can't see. These are necessary items to me, very necessary. I feel bad, like I really actually do like secondhand things as well. I enjoy old people's things. Whenever someone I know has the relatives that dies, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. When's the estate sale? I mean the funeral. When is the funeral? I'll be there and I'll bring cash. I mean a casserole. I'll bring a casserole to the funeral. So sorry. Give me all your grandma's things. I have a problem. So I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but I hope it's okay if I open up about a pretty hot dream that I had last night. I'd call it a sexual dream. It was great. Basically, Fran Lebowitz took me to see a movie. It was the greatest. I loved it. I loved it. Good times. In music, I was thinking about this, and like old music, they used to sing "Ba-doopy doop." That was a big thing. It'd be like, "Boop boopy doop." Let's bring back the Badoopy Doop. I think it's time. I think the world is ready for it. Honestly, a Badoopy Doop is just a pre-war version of "yeah." And Ariana Grande really popularized that. So I feel like she's the one to bring back the Badoopy Doop. I have a lot of anxiety. Give it up for anxiety in the comments. Yes, we all have. Yes, whoop, whoop, anxiety. However, I found a way, I think, to beat it. And it does involve song. I put on this concert for my roommates every night from my shower where I'm like, all right, this song goes out to all those people who died in my apartment before I moved in. I don't want to close both eyes, even when I wash my face, 'cause I'm scared of you and I know you're gonna murder me. That's a good one. That helps me work through some stuff. Or when I'm shaving my legs, I'm like, don't cut yourself intentionally. It's only okay accidentally. You took an ibuprofen and the water is hot, but that doesn't mean your blood won't clot. You've never had problems with clotting. I get scared, so I have to sing about it. Or at the end of a shower, I'm sure you know this one where you're like, the hair that fell out is a normal amount of hair. This is a normal amount of hair. You don't have alopecia. You don't have lupus. You've never had chemo because you don't have cancer. Oh my God, you definitely do. There's really no way to know if you don't. So please sing those tracks next time you're in the shower and you're a little scared. Those work wonders for me. I'm gonna bring up your first comic of the evening. I'm so excited to see her. I haven't seen her in a while. She is the best. She's all the way from Washington, D.C. So please give it up virtually for the wonderful Yelena Kulik.
Good evening. So my daughter is smoking all the time, and it smells funny. So I asked her, what is that you're smoking? And she said, oh, that's herb sage. It gets rid of the coronavirus. And I'm so proud of her because she's so caring. She smokes all day and all night, all over the house. She was smoking in the kitchen, and my husband walked in. He's like, what does that smell? Are you smoking pot? I said, you don't know me at all. I don't have time to smoke pot. I eat edibles. To be completely honest with you, I do smoke pot sometimes to help me to be more creative, to come up with new comedy material. And I thought it's probably such a bad habit to get into. So I thought I wouldn't smoke, but I will do what I do when I'm on pot. And so I did. And I didn't write any new comedy material, but I ate 2 bags of potato chips. So my friend is still saying that she may not going to get a vaccine because she doesn't know what's in it. And I said, of course you don't know what's in it. You ask me what's in orange juice. She's like, well, I'm still worried. It may cause infertilities. I said, oh my God, finally, the birth control that works. So my friends telling me, how come you always complaining that you are cold? You from Russia. What did you do in Russia in winter? And I said, what do you mean? I did what we always do in Russia. Suffer. It's hard to be Russian right now. So I went out for the drinks with my friends, and I wanted to order my favorite cocktail, Black Russian. But by the time the service came by, I got so self-conscious. I didn't want to say word Russian. I said, can I please have one black, the famous black one? She's like, no, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, well, I just want to have one black. She's like, ma'am, this is a bar. This is not a dating site. Okay, I'll just have Jack Daniels. Many people in America challenge themselves. CrossFit, triathlon, mud running to feel alive. Many Russian people also challenge themselves like this. We have Trans-Siberian escape from the labor camp. Running in bare feet at sub-zero temperatures while chased by guards with machine guns and dogs, that really burns up the calories. I can never get over how many things I hate to buy in America. No wonder you need influencers like Kim Kardashian, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, people that you can really trust. Then they tell you to do something. The influencers we had in Russia was Stalin. My aunt in Russia, when she was in her 80s, taught me that diet is very important. She was very strict about it. Every morning for breakfast. She had oatmeal, no milk, and no sugar. And every night when her husband came home from work, it was strictly vodka and sex. She's 97 now, still doing it. My son came home the other day and he said, Mom, you know, girls in high school, they really like tall guys, and I'm only 5'7". Do you think I have a chance to grow up to be like over 6 feet tall? And I said, well, maybe you will, and maybe you won't. But that's not the reason why people get attracted to each other. Do you know why I married your dad? For love and his Ferrari. I complimented this woman at the party for how sexy, amazing she looked in those high heel red stiletto shoes. And she said, these are not shoes. These are weapons. I got rid of my lousy husband in this. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, he was a bad listener. And I started wearing this, and now I have a better one. I'm getting a little older, and I don't like to celebrate my birthdays anymore because anything more than 18 candles on a cake does not look festive to me. It looks like Amazon forest burning. My daughter told me about this Japanese method of organizing she recently learned about. She said, I have to get rid of things that don't spark joy anymore. And I said, oh, well, I'm going to go upstairs right now and start packing. My daughter complained to me. She said, my generation, according to her, is going to be last generation on earth. I said, what are you complaining about? How often do you get experience that kind of grand finale? Thank you so much. I love you.
Yelena Kulik. Yelena, you're so right about the birthday candles. As soon as I got to a double blow, I switched to cupcakes. I can't do it. Once you got to take a breath in between, I don't know, doesn't feel worth it. Your next comic coming to the screen. She made her debut with ACI, first time performing with us at Gotham on Friday, and she was wonderful. So I'm so excited to have her on the online show. Please give it up all the way from Milburn, New Jersey. This is Naomi Kazi.
Hello. I'm originally from Australia, and before I moved to the US, I was living in Switzerland, where the languages were Italian, German, and French. So I was so excited to move here where the language is English, but I struggled to order coffee at Starbucks. I was like, can I please get a medium coffee? And the lady was like, a venti or a grande. I was like, oh man, not this again. I'm not sure. Something around 13 centimeters. She's like, ma'am, we use inches and feet here. So I looked down at my foot and I was like, I don't know, something that's like half my foot. She's like, don't they have Starbucks where you're from? I said, no, all we have is free healthcare. So I was actually raised a Catholic, but I never really prayed, not until I moved to New Jersey. Now, every night I pray to God and I pray to the patron saint of New Jersey. I say, dear John Bon Jovi, can you please help me make enough money to afford all the tolls on the turnpike? Because I'm tired of living on a prayer. But he didn't answer me. And my friend said, of course he didn't answer you. Everybody knows the patron saint of New Jersey is actually Bruce Springsteen. So I was like, oh, can you even pray to Bruce Springsteen when you're not born in the USA? I had this really awkward moment actually with my neighbor Jim. I didn't know that you call flip-flops here, because back home we call them thongs. It was a really cold night and he saw me taking out the trash and he looked down at my feet and he was like, oh, how can you wear those when it's so cold? I said, yeah, I wear thongs all year round. I was like, what? You probably only wear thongs when you're like feeling hot? He said, Naomi, I'm going to go now. His wife, Vivian, doesn't talk to me anymore. The other day, my 8-year-old said, Mom, you talk funny. You talk like an Aussie, but you're in America now. You got to speak like an American. Looked at him and I said, since when are you a Republican? I actually keep getting calls from the school nurse to pick him up because he keeps visiting her office and he makes up the weirdest stuff. So she called me because he convinced her that his elbow looks too similar to his knee. And I was like, what? That's not even a medical condition. She said, maybe he has anxiety. I said, no. He gives you anxiety. That's why you keep calling me. You're a trained medical professional. He's a little boy who still believes in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the government. So we actually think he's not going to school because there's a kid that's actually bullying him. So we asked him, what did the bully say to you? He said he keeps saying that my grandmother is a stripper. So I told him, look, when you see this kid, I want you to point him out to me. I want to have a word with him. So I met the kid and I said, did you tell my son that his grandmother's a stripper? He said, yeah. I said, that is brilliant and original. So now I pay this kid not to bully my son and he helps me with my comedy material. The kid's an entrepreneur. We have Zoom meetings on Tuesdays. Do you know who I really miss? I miss my ex-boyfriend. We used to have romantic dinners. I used to get great presents, but it's my fault. It's my fault everything changed because I went and married him. I have noticed that here in the USA, it's kind of like the land of the deniers. You got your like Holocaust deniers, election deniers, climate change deniers. But I recently met the most interesting denier. I was at a museum and I met a guy who doesn't believe that dinosaurs exist. He came up to me and he's like, do you believe that like they're real dinosaurs? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you think we're going to go to heaven and see that? I was like, hang on, you believe in heaven, which has no scientific evidence, but not dinosaurs? It's like, yeah, don't they teach you that in England? I said, actually, I'm from Australia. He's like, I don't believe Australia exists. What? He's like, yeah, the earth is flat. No Australia. Thank you guys. You've been amazing. Thanks for listening. I'm Naomi Kazi.
Naomi Kazi. Naomi, you've given me pride in my home state of New Jersey and also the opposite of pride for my country as a whole. I actually think the patron saint of New Jersey is my dad. Sorry to break it to you. I think he's part of the Trinity there. Your next comic coming to the screen, just give me a moment to share my screen. This is going to be Richard Snyder. And this is kind of a treat. We have a video of Richard. And I want to make sure that this works. I need to share a video. Share sound. Share. Okay. Sorry, everyone. 1 second. I got it. Okay, here we go. This is Richard Snyder.
I am 61 years old and I do what I can to stay young. I eat right. I go to the gym. I drink the blood of my enemies. I know I shouldn't do that. It gives me reflux. I got my body composition measured. It turns out that I am 22% water and 78% body hair. You know, I blame my Jewish genetics for this whole body hair situation. I mean, I am so hairy that on my driver's license, I'm a hair donor. You know, I like to think that when I pass, I could be of some help to a village of balding men in Israel. The hair, it just grows in the weirdest places. I had an earache. I went to the doctor and he looked in there and he said, you know, I am sorry, Mr. Snyder, there is so much hair in there that I can't see your eardrum. And I said, well, isn't there some device to remove it? And he said, well, that there was, but he'd have to go to Home Depot to get it. I am an Ashkenazi Jew, Eastern European, and we are the most purebred humans. Originally, there were just 300 of us, so all of our genetic traits come from this tiny group. So I guess that in ancient days, there were 300 people who all wear eyeglasses, had crippling anxiety, and their mothers want them to go to medical school. My kids have totally embraced their Jewish roots. They don't listen to a thing I say. My daughter introduced me to her boyfriend. Right away, I knew the kid was gay, and I told her, and she said, "You don't know what you're talking about. I would never fall in love with a gay man." I said, "Sweetheart, your mother did." "Yeah, I'm gay. I came out when I was 50 years old. Most guys in a midlife crisis get a sports car. Me, I got sodomy." I go to these gay parties now, and I notice that everyone is doing these gay party drugs. I thought, well, maybe I should too. But then I realized, how can I do Molly if I can't handle gluten? So I'm watching gay porn now. In straight porn, the message was, "Are you old? Are you ugly? You still get the hot girl." In gay porn, the message is, "Are you over 30? Do you have back hair? Kill yourself." I was freaked out about anal sex, so I got myself a sex therapist, and I asked him, "Doesn't it hurt?" And he said, "Well, it doesn't hurt when you go to the bathroom." And I'm like, "You're right. I guess I have a way of relaxing in there." And he said, "Great." And I said, "So when I'm having anal sex, it's okay for me to do the crossword puzzle?" I came out to one of my oldest friends, and he was like, "That is amazing. You must feel completely liberated. What kind of secrets would you keep now?" And I said, "Well, I did embezzle from my kids' college fund." My regular therapist told me that I have the Oedipus complex. And I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And he said, "Well, it's when you want to kill your father so you can have sex with your mother." And I said, "That's impossible. Mom's not my type. For mom to be my type, she'd have to be an Asian male figure skater." I have the suspicion that my children have started to fantasize about their inheritance. My daughter sent me an email with an article attached from AARP magazine, "How to Leave a Large Estate to Your Children." My son has been more diplomatic. He made me a bucket list. Number 1, drinking hot chocolate in Paris. And I said, "Well, that's wonderful. What's number 2? And he said, "Swimming with orcas." Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, Richard Snyder. I so loved that. Yeah, let him hear it. Well, let him see it, I guess. Awesome. Excited. I think you have the power to create real change in this world, okay? I like the mentality. I like your passion and drive. That was our show, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, we have our workshops online every single month. If you love stand-up comedy, if you want to try it, if you want to do it, you can do it with the American Comedy Institute and with Steve Rosenfield and Becky Viduccio in September. Have a wonderful rest of your week.